92.5 ABC Central Coast. Go to our Facebook and you can have a look at what we're talking about. Next, Andrew Rowland is a gamer, and everyone thinks, oh, a fellow sitting on the lounge with a bowl of cheesy poofs next to him and a controller in his hand, but it's not the case. It's really fantastic stuff, beautiful art, wonderful social aspect to all of this, and he's got a box of his wares here, one of the drawers out of this incredible desk in the studio, and you can see it all coming up from the 20th of July to the 24th of July at the Entrance Gallery. They're hosting this exhibition of the Napoleonic era desk or table. The showpiece is a large, magnificent Tasmanian oak games table that was designed and manufactured over a 20-year period right here on the Central Coast. It's got a Christopher Columbus-style map of the late 18th century Europe, and then the Napoleonic Wars rage from country to country across this. And the man behind it, Andrew Rowland, joins us in the studio. Good to have you with us, Andrew. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Scott. Good to be here.
Amazing work. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
A lifetime.
It certainly is. It's been a passion of love for so many years, and a passion often in the night hours. Work by day and work on the table and the history and this whole passion of a night time. So it's it came out in the 90s firstly, but
when did you start? When did you start doing?
The beginning was I was in business, and I had a print business, and I was a bit of a workaholic and couldn't settle down. I'd go to someone's place and I'd take my books with me, and my brother actually handed me this little box of soldiers, about 50 soldiers, and he basically said, get a life and relax. So I do everything passionately, Scott. So
did the pieces come first or the table come first?
Well, the pieces came first. After 1 year, I'd painted something like 2,000 pieces, and I had this collection of soldiers I didn't know really what to do with. And at that time, I'd moved to Brisbane. I just put an ad in a local hobby store. Basically, is there anyone else like me? And I received calls from all over Brisbane at the time. I was only there for a 2-year period, but chaps phoned me from all over Brisbane. I met this chap called Peter Cross, who does the big war gaming in a traditional sense, table tennis tables with terrain, etc., what they do in Europe and England, etc., which was fantastic. I got to learn a lot about history, a lot about gameplay, etc., but that was something that was you'd have to have a lot of patience for, because you play over a month's schedule. You play battles that were campaigns.
Right. So you replicate the real campaign.
I didn't quite have that.
You play a faster version, do you?
Yes, a much faster version. You can play it in a few hours.
These multifaceted dice, people can see them. I took a photo of your box of goodies here, and it's up on our Facebook page and in all its glory. I don't do it justice, but
yes.
It's a terrific box of goodies. It's just, oh boy, I could play with that for hours. The multifaceted dice, how do they work?
Well, there is 10-sided dice, and between all the different nations, there's eight nations represented on the table, and they all have different ratings and strengths and weaknesses, and the dice are a representation of that strength and weakness by their number on the dice. So,
and you have cards and
dice.
Yeah,
you have cards.
So you draw cards, which give you this
about
random...
160 cards, and those cards are...
Can I have a look at those?
Yeah, sure. It's 160 cards, and that's just a sample, and they have everything from historical events that happen through the Napoleonic...
Did you make these yourself?
Yes, they're all made and researched.
They're beautifully presented.
So you've got every type of event that happened through the Napoleonic Wars. So history actually comes into the game. So it's actually a very good history.
Well, let's draw one at random, and you tell me what it says. I don't know.
Okay. So this one at random is the price of occupation. Overrun by the enemy, you are forced to pay an indemnity of 120 million francs. Now, this relates to the Prussian when Napoleon occupied Prussia,
right.
And they had to pay a price for that occupation. So,
do you have a sort of a bank as well.
Yes, that's right. You've got there's a
So
very
it's
large
bit of
economy
monopoly
line
as well.
running around. If you could picture a table that has over 400 beautiful brass ringlets around it, which show all the timelines running around and show all the economies, and every nation has a different economy. So it's a team-based game. So you've got 8 players that sit in teams of 4, and their strengths and weaknesses combine together to make the team play, and it's really
exciting. And you learn so much, don't you?
That's exactly
I've
right.
just won. You have been awarded the Military Order of Maria Theresa. The
That's
Knight,
the Austrian order.
She was the Habsburg, wasn't she?
Yes.
She was an amazing woman. She
Yes.
had like 4 million children and married married them to every royal family. They were incredibly smart. Marie Antoinette was a Habsburg, wasn't she? Badly maligned. In acknowledgement of your valorous act in battle serving your king, you are automatically ennobled with the title of Ritter in the Austrian nobility for life, +1 in defence for general the next playing year.
So there's lots of generals on the table, and they add morale value and an attack and defence value on the table. And those cards, you actually receive them when you suffer a defeat on the table. So that's how they're called battle cards.
So it evens things up.
It evens things up sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's bad.
I'd love to have a game, and people can have a game, I believe. Or
Yeah,
there's an
we have a
exhibition.
demonstration game on Sunday the 24th. That'll start at 10 a.m. through to 4 p.m. at the entrance gallery. That'll be a demonstration game, and it's an invitational game, so we have a number of players set for that. But you can come along and watch the game and how it works, and that's so.
Can people have a look at the pieces, because they truly are work of art? You've moulded these from pewter, from lead, which is the traditional way, but not toxic.
That's right. And these
used
figures
to be rather toxic.
Basically, for the last 20 years, I've sourced figures and buildings and miniature buildings and figures from all around the world. And what I couldn't source, I've actually made my own brand. And that, for instance, in 1995, when I was sourcing some of these figures, there was no Danish figures for the scales. So I spoke with the National Arsenal Museum in Copenhagen, Denmark. They sent me the plates. We had a sculptor, historian, and myself to design the figures. We made the figures, and now they're on display in the museum over in Denmark. So
it's wonderful.
It's
well worth a look. This is a really amazing work of art and functional art too.
Yes.
Hours of enjoyment. Official opening is 6:30 Wednesday, the 20th of July, which I think is next
Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. And it's all on at the entrance gallery. You can go to our Facebook page and find out details. Andrew Rowland, thank you so much for talking to us.
You're most welcome.
It's a brilliant thing you've done, and can't wait to see it in action.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, and we'll see who wins. 92.5 ABC Central Coast.